So we're hosting Electrolux today, the global appliances company that's also very familiar and one of the market leaders in Israel. And obviously, we're looking into sustainability, but also into innovation. And we have with us today Tovi Chevalier, the head of Electrolux Innovation Hub, and also Vanessa Butani, the Vice President for Sustainability. We're starting with you, Tovi. So hello from Sweden.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you.
Likewise, there's always this thing in Israel when you come across to Sweden, you think about the Eurovision contest. So we're not in the Eurovision contest, but we might sing just as well, right?
Yes, I hope Eurovision is very true to my heart, but obviously we do other things as well.
Yeah, so we'll try. At least I will not sing today. I don't think people will really appreciate it. So let's jump right into innovation, but also to sustainability. Can you sort of enlighten us or capture our imagination with some examples on sort of innovative, sustainable products that are coming out of the innovation pipeline at Electrolux?
Yes, I would love to. So there's three key areas that we work with innovation. So it's taste, which is all about sustainable eating. And then we have care, so sustainable clothing care. And then we have well-being in the home. So those are the three areas that we work with innovation. And within those, there are, of course, very, very exciting things that are coming out and coming in the market at the moment. So if you look at taste and how we help to drive, minimizing food waste, we, of course, work a lot with our food preservation and fridges to help you store them in the right way. So you minimize the food waste at the right place. And there, one of the innovations that we have is, of course, the Ultra Fresh Plus, where we have, sealed drawers within the fridges that helps really to store in the ultimate conditions, which I love. It's one of my favorite innovations that we have within food preservation. So that's one of them. When care, which is clothing care, is all about resource management. So helping you to minimize your water and energy usage, as well as provide better care for your garments. And I think one of the things that maybe people are missing out sometimes is that, one of the key impact drivers is how you care for your clothes, not only how the clothes are produced. So here, of course, one of the ones in the innovations that I use the most is our steam technology in our washing machines. So how we help people actually wash less and refresh more is through our steam technology. So one of my ultimate favorite ones. And then, of course, within well-being, kind of how we make the best air and quality in the home is, of course, the air purifiers.
Fascinating. And it's very much about the small things that we can do in our daily life, small actions that sort of, all together, they definitely have a difference in terms of keeping to, let's say, the lifestyle that we're used to, but at the same time caring for the planet and reducing eventually the negative impact. Tell us a bit about the Innovation Hub. I started with sustainability and the imagination that you sparked, but what actually happens at the Innovation Hub that you run at Electrolux?
Yes, so I think I have the absolute best job in the world, because I'm responsible of kind of pushing the company forward and kind of ensuring that everything that the targets that we have, that we make them a reality. So the Innovation Hub came about in 2019 when we kind of formulate and reformulate our sustainability targets for 2030, and where we felt that we need to have an innovation engine that can push us further and not only incrementally improve what we have today, but actually look beyond the products and solutions that we have and see how we can foster our sustainability thought leadership and continue on that journey that we've done for so many years. Hence, that's why we created the Innovation Hub, which is both a physical place, but also a mental model and a culture driver within the company to make sure that we always push ourselves beyond what we do today. So that's how we came about, and we really do three things for the company. Is that we do foresight, and we look into the future and kind of where are the biggest shifts happening in the world, and then we help the company to set those innovation strategies on a long-term horizon. So where do we see growth coming, and how can we drive that growth in a sustainable way? And then lastly, we help the company to explore and test and learn about these areas before we can scale them. So I think it's a very, very interesting work that we do, and fascinating, because we've been doing accelerators and incubators for a long time, as big companies have. And I think that the nugget that we found in this term is that we're connecting not only experimentation and incubation of new ideas, but we connect it directly to our innovation strategy, which I think is very interesting and very, very powerful.
Absolutely. And that's definitely one of the triggers for our conversation today. Any vacancies within your team so people can apply? Because it really sounds very, very attractive.
Yes,
you all, there's also, you've reached out to young adults to sort of connect innovation with the way that young adults think, the younger generation. That sounds fascinating as well.
Yes, it is. So we realize that a lot of times we work with a larger group of external partners today, but we realize that we missed the link into the youth, because they are really kind of the change makers and our customers of tomorrow. So we need to much closer connect with them and understand what are their needs, and thinking around the future of sustainable living. So we reached out to them and did it in a couple of steps. So we did a bigger survey with around 14,000 youth around the world, and asked them, what do they feel about sustainable living in the future? Where do they see the responsibility lies, and what are the key things that we need to focus on? So that was the first step. The second step that we did, and still doing, which I think is even more important, is that, we can not only listen and really hear them, but we need also to work with them. So we invited them in, and actually now we have a team of 8 young change makers that we co-create with, and they're part of our innovation process now when we look into future innovations.
Wow, and they do it as sort of what, after school, or how does it actually happen?
Yes. It's been really fascinating now with COVID coming in, and actually kind of leapfrog us into make this happen. So we've been working with them after school and on odd hours to make sure that we work with their calendars and make sure that it works with their schoolwork, of course. But they come in and they had a seat at the table, and they work with our designers and our R&D and engineers, which is we've learned so much in this process.
Wow, I would imagine it really goes both ways in terms of the opportunity and sort of fresh input that they bring, but also at the same time learning from sort of experience and how things are really get done eventually. To sort of maybe to connect us and then invite Vanessa in, what would you say are the drivers that push, the appliance industry, Electrolux, to sort of innovation and sustainability sort of connected together?
A very important question to talk about, I think, because of course, sustainability is part of who we are. It's not a nice to have. It's really connected to our purpose and what we believe in, and what we believed in, 400 years, that we think is important. So that's the root cause. Then, of course, now more than ever with climate change and the things that are happening around the world, it's very, very important that we lead this change, and we continue to be the sustainable thought leader that we are, and keep pushing the envelope faster than before. Then, of course, looking at kind of 10-year shift and where we see what the world is going, we see as the industry as a whole and the appliance market, we need to make this change of not only improving our products and making them more sustainable, but actually helping people to live better and live more sustainably, and changing behaviors you talked about before. If we don't do that, we will not stay relevant. So of course, from a market and business perspective, it's equally important looking to our customers today, but also the youth of and change makers of tomorrow. It is crucial for us to stay relevant. We have to continue to push the envelope. So of course, those are the 3 drivers that we have when we look into innovation for sustainability.
It definitely sounds very sustainable in terms of business strategy. I'm sure Vanessa will add up to that. And I think you've tapped on one of the crucial roles of businesses today to help consumers, to help the public sort of live better, but at the same time live more sustainably. Thank you very much, Tovi. So we now have Vanessa Butani, Vice President for Sustainability at Electrolux, joining us. Hi, Vanessa.
Hello.
So we've sort of heard about innovation and sustainability at Electrolux, and let's take a sort of a step back to the overall strategy. You recently announced a shift from a sustainability strategy to a sustainable strategy, which connects the whole strategy deeper into the business, if I understood correctly. So can you share sort of what it's all about?
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think the core of it is that sustainability for us isn't just an add-on, right? If you have a sustainability strategy over here, you can easily take and say, okay, we're done with that. Let's keep going now. When we say we have a sustainable strategy, then it's totally integrated into our business, right? Which is core for us. And that's how we're really going to take the next steps in our work here. So, I mean, we're an industry leader with ambitious goals, and it's not just about the planet, really. It's good business, right? So we believe our sustainable strategy really is going to make us stand out in the marketplace. And integrating that into business is how we do that. And we frame it in something we call our For the Better 2030 platform, where we have 3 pillars, where we talk about better company, better solutions, and better living. So better company is really about getting our own house in order, right? It's working towards carbon neutrality in our operations, making sure we have diverse and fair workplaces, driving high environmental and social standards among our suppliers as well, and of course, giving back to the communities around us. Then we have better solutions, which is really our products, right? Delivering sustainability throughout the life cycle of our products, from materials to packaging and end of life. And then I see really coupled with that is better living, which is about enabling consumers to live more sustainably. And it's not just by choosing Electrolux, right? But in the way they use their products in their homes every single day, right? And an interesting fact there is we know that 52% of consumers say that they're climate conscious, but they're not living as sustainably as they would like to. And we believe we really can help them live their values, working together with us. And doing all of this, our For the Better 2030 platform is now setting up to get us to carbon neutrality in everything that we do across our entire value chain by 2050. So that's our plan. And it's about, the elements working together, right? So it's group operations, it's our business areas, it's the consumer experience and all the functions there. So all of the functions need to work together. And that's why it's a sustainable strategy, because we all have a role to play here, and we're all part of it.
And I mean, we'll go deeper into the better living, better solutions, or better solutions, better living. But first I want to ask you, what has changed in your role, in your daily routine through the change of strategy, if any changes sort of appear? Because I think it's interesting to understand what's the difference here. I mean, it sounds promising.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, really, it's just a change of words, right? But it is so much bigger than that for us. I think for me, in my role, how it really changes is that, sure, we have a core sustainability team at Electrolux, right? But now I really need to make sure that we have 48,000 people on our sustainability team. Like that's everybody needs to feel like I have a role to play in sustainability. I have a responsibility. I'm proud to work for this company that's doing so much towards sustainability. So I think it's really, to me, building that network and making sure that everybody understands how can I contribute and what is it that I can do. And at the same time, it's also that we all are ambassadors for Electrolux for sustainability. So making sure that we know the best ways to use our products and to make them the most sustainable as possible. So I think that's really the big difference, is going to really get everybody involved and really be integrated throughout the organization and create that network.
Yeah, it sounds pretty, going out of a silo to a more integrated approach. Your role, I would imagine, involves a lot of being a connector and integrated, as you mentioned. So, I mean, good luck with that. I think that's definitely where we need to head. There was a phase, by the way, when people said we don't need sustainability officers once we get sustainability into the overall strategy. But you're very much emphasizing the essential role that you need here for integrators and connectors. Anyway, going back to, yeah, you want to comment on that? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I think that is obviously the ultimate goal. We shouldn't need to have a sustainability person, but I mean, just looking at the COP26 discussions in Glasgow, and we're not there yet. We still have a long way to go. And when you have one focal point that helps to be that drive, to be that energy. So somebody I spoke to, sort of a mentor, said, okay, Vanessa, you're like the Sherpa. You've got to be the one pulling the hard work there. You got to get everybody involved, right? And I see that. So yes, the whole organization needs to get into it. We all need to own this together, but we still need kind of a fire behind us also. And I'm happy to be that.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. I think that if you want to drive an issue forward, you need somebody to sort of hold the flag. Whether that person is sort of doing it by him or herself, or sort of serves as a connector, that's, I think, the key element in here. Going back to the better solutions, better living, that also touches, I think, on Glasgow and everything that we've heard. And the role of business here, of helping consumers to be more sustainable, live more sustainably, rather than just, feeling guilty for not being living according to that. So can you share some examples of how can you do that?
Yeah, sure. And I'll also share with you just why it's so important for us also to really step up our game on better solutions and better living, right? If you think of the total life cycle impact of a product, right? You've got all the materials that come in there, the transport to create it, how we actually create it in our factories, and getting it out to the retailers and selling it, and then it gets to your home and then you use it, right? So, and then you dispose of it or recycle it, we hope, right? Is the best, obviously. But in all of that, the biggest impact, 85% of the impact, the carbon emissions, come from the use phase of the product. So when that product is in people's homes and used, most of them used every day, right? Like your fridge or something like that, it's always on every single day through over 10 to 20 years, whatever it may be, the lifetime is. So for us, it's therefore super important, right? Coming back to solutions and living, making the solutions that are the most resource efficient possible. And then, of course, helping consumers to understand how to use those in the best way. So it's that combination that is so strong. So we can build fantastic appliances, and at a base level, they always use much less water, much less energy. But then there's stuff that we can do to help, nudge consumers, really, to help teach consumers how to use those even better. So they take it sort of to the next level and make another impact there themselves. And I think you mentioned to me before that, consumers in Israel, they're not, if it's just a sustainable product, it's just green, it's not as interesting as in what can it do for me? And I think that's the key to me that we need to get to. So we need to show people what is the value in doing this. One thing we did recently was a study called The Truth About Laundry, where we studied about 12,000 people across Europe and asked them about their laundry habits. So how do you do your laundry? And it was really interesting to see the learnings we got out of that. People have learned how to do their laundry from their parents, learned from their parents, and they don't really change their behavior. So there's a lot of things that we could actually improve upon simply with what we have today, without making all these new features in the products, actually. And one of those that I'd like to just send along to your viewers is this, that 30 is the new 40, meaning that washing your clothes at 40 degrees is really not necessary. You can wash at 30 degrees and get a great result doing that. And I think that's the key thing there, is that you get a great result for your clothes. It helps take care of your clothes better, helps reduce the wear and tear on your clothes. And at the same time, you've reduced 10 degrees on your washing cycle. And as we said, if we do that across Europe, it would be like taking out 1.5 million cars off the road just by changing the temperature. So I think there's a lot of interesting things that we can do there. Some of the other innovations that we have on the market is, for example, our Quick Select dishwasher. And that's one that I really like, because in that dishwasher, you have a slider button on the top on the panel where you can choose either a quick wash or an eco wash. And what's interesting with that, I think, is it allows people to see, okay, you know what? if I reduce the time, if I do a quicker wash, it actually consumes more resources than if I do a longer wash. And that's kind of counterintuitive to people. So as I see here, we're helping people to understand the implications of the choices we make, but also allowing them to make a choice. Like, you know what, I have time today. I can do a long wash, and that's going to be the best one for the environment. You know what, today I really need to get those dishes done. I do the short one and I make that choice, so that we keep it so that it is something that the consumer knows what they're doing, that they can make a choice, and you don't have to feel guilty about that choice either, which I think is important. So it's about reinforcing the positive as well in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've actually solved a major issue that we're debating at the office with the washer. So okay. We now finally have the answer for that. And I absolutely agree. I mean, it's all about feeling less guilty. It's all about helping consumers to sort of act more sustainably. And that's a major opportunity for business here, for new business models, for new solutions, and for new ways of life. We'll look into, by the way, the sort of the findings from the laundry habits, because that sounds really fascinating. So Vanessa, there's more to talk about, but quickly, was there anything surprising in the laundry sort of survey that you did? Because it sounds really interesting.
You know, I think one of the most surprising things was how much people wash their jeans. And if you ask Levi says you should actually wear your jeans about 100 times before you wash them. And we were finding in our report.
Wow.
100 times, yeah. And I mean, we were finding in our report, people were washing their jeans, washing them after wearing them, 3, 4, 5 times. So even that is something just to consider, like, do I really need to wash my jeans? And of course, if you want that, crisp jeans feeling, but I think many of us are thinking like that casual, soft jeans fit is kind of nice. So, I mean, it's made me think about it for sure. I've definitely turned my laundry temperature down to 30 degrees. And well, maybe I shouldn't share that, but I don't wash my jeans very much.
So that's another issue solved for the office discussion. Good. Good. So Vanessa, thank you so much to you and to Tovi. We'll definitely sort of follow up and look for more sort of, as you said, better solutions, better living. Thank you.